Hello, hi everybody. As the nice introduction was, my name is Stjepan. I hope the presentation in English is going to be fine. But there is always, yeah, maybe if it's on PowerPoint, you can turn on the translation, but it's okay. Anyways, it's good to be with you all here, and thank you for the organizers for inviting me. This is an amazing place. I really like the vibes and everything of it all. But today I'm here to present, not only talk about AI, but also talk about how you can save $4.5 million with AI. Okay, does it sound interesting? Yeah. Okay. Let's go then. So first of all, just so you know where I'm, like what I do, where I'm from, and everything. Again, my name is Stjepan. I'm born and raised in Croatia. I lived in Denmark for 10 years. And just 6 months ago, I moved to Los Angeles. So I just flew 15 hours to come here. And I hope you're going to understand like what brought me there, let's say. The first thing, I worked for this company called Sweco. I don't know if they're big in Hungary, but it's Europe's largest engineering firm. I was there for 3 years, and then I was for 2 years at BIG. Do we have any architects in the room? Okay, a few architects, amazing. You know BIG? Yeah, you know, okay. BIG is like this famous architectural company. I was there as a project BIM lead for a couple of years. And then a year and a half ago, I opened my company. Of course, I needed to market myself, you know. It's, who else? It's a small business. I have 3 employees only. But yeah, what we do is very simple, actually. We make online courses. I have one of the students here, actually, in the audience. We make online courses, workshops. We have a workshop later today. I'm going to tell you more about that as well. And then, yeah, like help people implement and strategize about AI. And I always say that, you know, God has blessed me more than I deserve, not only to be here, but also because in 1.5 years, I got more than 600 clients in 67 countries. Which not only tells you, like, I guess, a bit about the quality of what we do, but also about the scale that AI is operating at, right? Let me check the room. How many of you use AI pretty much weekly? Oh, okay, everybody. Amazing. Okay, cool. Yes. ChatGPT, right? I'm guessing Copilot, ChatGPT. Amazing. Okay. Well, then you know everything. I don't have to say anything more. I'm joking. It's okay. There's a lot of interesting stuff. I'm here to talk about AI, but more importantly, I'm here to talk about how to save money with AI. It's not only like summarize this text or, you know, make this email correct. It's actually how you can save real money. So. Yes, the first things first, why me? Again, not only because of the courses, this is something called the AEC AI Hub. It's the world's largest database of AI tools for the AEC industry. I created this myself over the last 3 years. There's more than, where does it say? 1,700 applications is in this database, and it is completely free. Okay? So if you go to AI and AEC, AEC stands for Architecture, Engineering, Construction. Sorry, I didn't say that. But if you go to aiandac.com, you can get this for free. And you can see the amount of innovation out there in this space. Okay? I also know that at a huge database, nobody needs 1,700 applications. People need like 1 to solve their problem, right? So this is also something I created, cheat sheets, where you can summarize what is for design, what is for documentation, engineering, construction, and so on. So this is like an easier way to understand what are the apps, what are the companies out there. And yeah, then I spent the last, what is it, a year and a half now, telling people about everything that's out there. First thing that what we can do with AI now that we weren't able to do before, we can take a piece of paper, crumble it like this, and create something this amazing. That's pretty cool, huh? This is from Studio Info. I recommend following them as well. If anybody of you, okay, how many people use AutoCAD here? Okay, not so many people. So for anybody who uses AutoCAD, or even if you work with point clouds and then you need to turn that into a BIM model, okay? There's an app that does it automatically for you. It's called Bimify. And just so you know, I am not paid by any of these softwares that I'm going to show you today to talk about them, okay? This is all independent, okay? They're not paying me to promote them. I just do it because I think they're cool. One more really cool application. It's called Augmenta. So for any electricians in the building, when you have like this old building and you need to renovate it, let's say, you can just give that to Augmenta and it creates electrical pathways automatically for you. Think about it, what's going to happen to our disciplines, everything that we do, what's going to happen with AI. This is a video, I hope it's going to work. Yes, it is. Thank you guys in the back. Appreciate that. So this is called Aaron. This is a tool for infrastructure inspections. Okay? So for bridges, tunnels, whatnot. So typically, if you need to do an inspection, you need to fix a bridge, as you can see here. You would need to go to the bridge. You would need to send like a crew, put a scaffolding, 3 to 5 people would need to check this for cracks, and then separate the cracks in an Excel file for like small crack, medium crack, big crack. This is all automatic. A guy sends a drone, and a drone does it automatically. And they get a report what needs fixing, what doesn't need fixing. Pretty cool stuff, huh? Yeah. That's Aaron. I mean, what I'm showing you right now is just a few solutions to kind of open your minds to what is possible out there, okay? This is Sparkle for any contractors in the building. So when you get BIM models from architects and engineers, they typically like misinformation, or maybe you like if you need to do quantity takeoffs, if you need to know how much concrete there is, how much glass there is, what you can do with Sparkle is very simple. You see this little black ribbon here? You can simply chat with your BIM model. Meaning, you have a BIM model, you just ask it, how much foundation do I have? Poof. How much reinforcement do I need? There it is. And this is, like, of course you can do it with Revit if you know how to use Revit, but you need to pay 5,000 a year or whatever it is. This is 150 euros per month. It's very, it's not only like useful, but it's also cheap. And one more here. I love this one. For any, so I told you I live in LA, and then there's Waymos and these self-driving cars. Now you have Tesla Robotaxi in Austin, Texas. Yeah. So we heard about cars, but I don't know if you heard about excavators. These guys, you see them? They're not guys. These machines. There's no people here. Look, there's no people. The only thing they have is this here, are like these blue computers. So these guys, again, machines, work in sync, alone, no people. They can work 24/7, no pension, no breaks, no coffee, nothing. So, and they can probably produce higher quality than people can. Of course, what they're doing here is solar piling, and you can see that the Earth is very flat. So maybe if there's a hill or something, it's a bit more difficult. But this is just where technology is today. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So the reason why I know all this is something I really recommend checking out. Again, if you go to LinkedIn or ainac.com, again, you're going to find that I do these weekly demos. Okay, they are free, completely free. They're on YouTube and LinkedIn. And I invite people from all of these softwares, like for all of these startups, to come and present. We had AI renders in seconds by Casper. We had Cogram that can do your meeting notes. They can do your field reports. We had Finch to optimize architecture, like a residential one. Yes, please take photos, no problem. But then go check it out on YouTube as well, okay? Because there's like an hour and a half of every single demo on what they do, why are they, good or not good, and so on. There's also one more. Code comply, where you just give your drawings and it checks them against your code for you. So you don't need to check yourself how wide is the corridor, how long, I don't know, how high is the kitchen, spec book for specifications that you get as engineers, ConstruFlow to organize your data very quickly with AI, again, faster inspections with Guild. There's a lot, you see, so I can talk about this for days. This is actually one of the coolest ones. Any MEP engineers? MEP, like mechanical engineering, electrical plumbing? No? Okay, nothing. But these guys are doing clash detection automatically. When you have like 500 clashes in a building, they resolve this automatically. Okay. Anyways, you get the point. We do a bunch of these demos with them, And again, if you want to sign up, this is the QR code. You can scan it. And again, they're pretty much every week completely free. Yes. Yeah, these guys are coming soon. So Endre is going to come soon, and Ferris was just last week. So as you can see from all of these solutions, I think that you're going to agree with me that the future is already here, but it's just not evenly distributed. Okay? And as I've said, 67 countries, amazing. And the story of how we saved 4.5 million starts here. Okay? So I had a guy, he's an IT director of a big firm, and they are based in the United Arab Emirates, okay, in Dubai. And he took my course, this like middle course, mastering NAC, and he was like, okay, this is for real. This guy knows what he's talking about. Let me invite him over for a week so we can implement this in my firm, okay? The firm, now I'm under an NDA, so I can't really say these names, but I can show you, which is super fun. I can show you these names so you understand what the firm does, okay? They're an interior designer firm of 250 people. They work with these brands. Now, if you've ever been to the States, you know these brands, but maybe they're also here. But also one of the, let's say, most famous brands they work with is a coffee company that rhymes with moonbucks, okay? If you get it, I guess. I hope you do. Anyways, this is them. But that's the thing. People think when you work with these huge brands that you earn a lot of money. But it's actually the opposite. These huge brands know that they can lower their price for you, meaning that they can find anybody, so you need to lower your price to get them as a client. So beyond the flashiness, as it says, they had 3 problems. One thing is that their profit was based on volume, so they needed to produce things quickly. Their software use was based on trends, just what they heard out there. Again, a bit of CAD, a bit of 3ds Max, whatnot. And they were only solving problems by hiring people. They never optimized things. Okay? So that's why they invited me. I came there in January. It was 25 degrees in January. Today is like 55. So I don't recommend going there today. But it was very, very nice. And this is where we spent a week. It's basically a normal meeting room. And first thing I noticed when I work with them is this. Now, I want you to understand if you have the similar issues or challenges. First challenge was that their clients, their clients had like varying requirements. These guys wanted this guy wanted that. They had very limited BIM and AI expertise. They were overwhelmed by AI. There was like so many solutions, thousands of solutions. So how do you know what to choose, right? Their IT, so I told you the IT director was in charge of this, but they were opening offices in Mexico City, in New York, I don't know where, in Canada. So they needed like, IT on that. They couldn't have IT do AI implementation. Their workflows are completely disorganized. Again, many clients, many cooks in the kitchen. And then they were very concerned about privacy and data security. Okay, do any of these speak to you? Anybody who has similar challenges? Anybody? Okay, lady in the 3rd row, thank you. So these are their challenges. Not only did they have challenges, they also had a bunch of questions, okay? So one of the questions was like, okay, where do we even get started? Okay, how do we get started with AI? Second was like, what is the strategy? What tools can we trust? How can AI really help me? Who can I trust? Like, who's a real expert and who's selling me that they are an expert, right? Are we too late? Are we too early? Do we even need this? And then there was like one lady, she was we became friends after, but she was like, why couldn't AI wait for 10 years? I'm like, what do you mean? Why 10 years? Because in 10 years, I'll be in pension. So I won't have to deal with this. So I hope that none of you feel that way. But yeah. Anyway, you get it. They had a bunch of questions. And one of the questions was also, why do we need an AI consultant to tell us how to work? I'm not there to tell them how to work. I'm just there to help them implement stuff and like learn, but it's up to them to decide how they want to work. So anyways, all in all, the main issue was the overwhelming amount of AI applications, and they were just brain fried. They didn't know what to choose. Okay? Does anybody feel the same way? So, okay, a few people in the back, yes. So everybody else is fine with AI, or... Okay, we'll see. Anyways, you get the point. So the first thing I told them is like, don't look at thousands of AI apps out there. There's like 60,000 AI companies in the world today. Not all of them are for architecture, engineering, and construction, but there's 60,000. So how do you choose? I told them, don't look at that. Look at your own image. Look in the mirror. Don't look for AI and try to implement it. Look at your own problems and then try to find an AI tool that can solve that problem. Make sense? Okay. So this is the process we went through. There's 9 steps that we went through. So first thing, of course, is to even understand that they need AI. The second thing was, of course, to educate them on AI, like what it can do, what it does, how does it work. It's not a black box. It has some rules. And then to make an AI policy. And then we started checking their technology, what they use today, right? After that, this was very fun. I'll show you a slide. It's very fun to do this. A process on like what file do you get from who? And what are the pain points there? Like what hurts you? What is your headache? What do you want to solve? You know, and then finally we tested a bunch of apps. This is not finally, but there's more steps to this. Then we create like an AI implementation plan. The owner of the firm, of course, wanted to me, okay, how much am I paying you? How much can I save? You know, and then the new tech stack proposal, and it continues. You always need to learn. It's not like a one and done thing. Make sense? Now, what I tell people is that if you follow these steps, you will implement AI, but it's going to take time. It depends on the size of your firm. If it's like 20 people, you can do it in 6 months. But these guys are 250 people. They need like, let's say, 1.5 years, 2 years. Yep, this is how it looked. Again, this was in Phoenix. They invited their offices from New York and Mexico City there, in Phoenix, Arizona. And these are all the questions I had for them. So if you can remember here, all of these columns are step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, okay? But all of these are questions that need answering. This is not easy stuff, this is not simple stuff. But here it is, you know, what are the big fears? Where do we put files? Who benefits if it's fixed, you know? How does the money flow? There's a bunch of questions, you understand? And of course, this is all making it very complex. Now, I made these very nice slides. I hope you think they're very nice. But in reality, this is how it looked. This is the mess that we were living in for that week. Because you can see here, okay, this was my goal, AI implementation plan. These are the tools. These are, yeah, there's a bunch, okay? So, but it's not about this. It's not about the mess that we made. It's about the outcomes that we generated, okay? So, as I've told you, and this is probably the most important slide in this presentation, always look at your own self first. What do you receive? Like which files do you get? Which information do you get? And how do you process that? Okay. Second thing, what is giving you headaches and what do you wish AI could do? And finally, what is taking the longest time and how do you automate that? It's going to make sense in a second. This is the process. So what I started asking there, let's take an example here. Okay, site info from the client, landscape photos guidelines. So they get something, they process it, and then they go through the like, okay, I need 3 people on this, I need 3 people on that. It's not about the process. This is fine. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you can see, okay, why are you duplicating information? But the point of the process is this here, these purple lines. Because here you find the pains. Here you find what can be optimized. Okay? So these are the pain points that these guys had. I don't know if anybody. So to generate images, to save hour here, to find files, to control versions, not call it final v2, final v3, final v4. Yeah, so they had a library of SketchUp objects. Pretty familiar with this one? Is anybody tracking issues with like red pen on a PDF? You print out PDFs and then you like circle and circle and circle and send it back, yeah? Makes sense? Yeah. This is also an issue that can be fixed with AI, but yeah. So these are their pain points. You can see many. The question is, how do we prioritize that? What do we find, you know, what we're going to do first? But I'll talk about that in the workshop after. And finally, from all of these solutions, there are some AI tools that can help. Speckle for this data, like control from application to application. MetaRoom is for scanning instead of like this expensive Faro equipment or like all of these scans. You can get it with your phone, man. You can just like film with your phone and you have the whole building there. Yeah, you can see project management is also BIMifies and maybe there's, you see, a bunch of solutions. AutoCAD text translation, because they have like, you know, a bunch of clients from everywhere, so they need to do that. Again, the question is, how do you prioritize? What do you start with? And this is something that I recommended to them. This is called the Hotbed framework. Okay, Hotbed framework. It's a stupid name, but it's very powerful what this framework does. Okay, so let me explain. We are looking for quick wins. We are looking for easy wins to get the people motivated. Make sense? First thing here, we are assessing our initiatives. So we write initiatives. I have a few examples here. Implement AI for rendering. Architects, there was a few. Searching building regulations with AI. Get rid of AutoCAD and move to BIM. Okay. You understand, you put your initiatives what you want to do, but then you grade it. You put grades next to impact, confidence, and ease. So the first thing is, let's say, implement AI for rendering. The impact of that, they are interior designers. This is what they do. This is what they sell. They sell renderings. So instead of like having Enscape do it for 8 hours a render or Lumion or whatever, with AI, they can get it very fast. They can do it in 30 seconds, okay? Confidence that this will work, are people open in their organization for this? Like, are they going to accept this and say yes? Confidence is very high for them because they had a problem of just having so much overtime. They were staying until like 1 a.m. to finish work. So for them, it's very high confidence. How easy would it be to implement something like this? Very easy. So this is a warm lead, meaning that this is something we're going to start with. Make sense? And just as an opposite example, in my business, of course, I told you, like I sell courses, right? So I want more people to buy courses. And I was thinking, okay, let me get an AI bot, like let me get an AI computer to cold call people. Just to call them and say, hey, we do this, and it's an AI, right? The impact of this would be, maybe a 4 or 5. Like it would be, most people would be like, is this a person? Well, no, goodbye. But but the main problem for me was the confidence. I knew that if I call, somebody, they will be like, Stjepan, why don't you call me as a person? Why are you sending like an AI computer to call me? So I'm really low in confidence, but it would be very easy. It would take me 2 days. So this is, but like in total, it's a very cold thing. It's not something we're going to do. Okay? Now, if you join the workshop this afternoon, there's a workshop at 4:15. All about this. We will go through this. We will find this for your organization. Make sense? Okay. Let me go to the examples that we found out there, okay, when it comes to this company. So we started testing apps. We went through the process, we found the pain points, and we started testing apps. We found that, okay, they can do some drawing and modeling stuff, image generation, communication, email prioritization, PDF issues, client standards, and there was a lot of blind spots. They didn't know this was a blind spot. But because I was there, I was able to tell them, guys, you have a problem with this. There's a better way. I have an example coming. So first thing, of course, was rendering and modeling. So we tested Corbu. We didn't like it so much. Crea, good stuff. D5 render, even better stuff. But then we also understood there's a difference between screenshot renders and model-based renders. Okay? Not to go into details now, but screenshot is basically you go to your SketchUp that you use today, you take a screenshot, you upload it to Crea, and then you create, or Midjourney or something, and then you create an like a AI-generated image on top of that. The problem with that is that, okay, it's quick, but you don't get any of the families, any of the files, any of the data back. So model-based renders is D5, because D5 is like Enscape, is like Lumion, it just uses AI to generate renders quickly. So it takes 30 seconds for a render. I can show you more of this stuff later on. Anyways, building regulations. Building regulations. Anybody here struggling with building regulations? How wide the corridor should be? How high the ceiling should be? Nobody? Okay, maybe one person there. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you struggle. Maybe you're just like being kind. Anyways, there's a company called Struck.eu. They're based out of Holland. So what they can do is you can take a zoning plan like this. You can take like a piece of land you want to build a house on, and it tells you, this is the zone you can't build in, but here you can build 144 square meters. It needs to have, you see, it needs to be like this, it needs to be like that. And you can also chat with, of course, regulations. Okay, how much can I build? What do I need to, like, what are their local regulations? And you know that every municipality has different rules. So these guys, they're amazing. It's two guys. One is a technical guy, one is a business guy. I know them pretty well. They started out of Netherlands, and it's like they scale so quickly. It takes them like 2 minutes to upload new documentation. So if you have like something project specific, you can do it here. And they also, like, now they're like in Denmark, in Norway, in Spain, I don't know. Like, they're in so many countries and they can quickly do it. So if they're not for Hungary today, they can do it very quickly. Project management, it's a very interesting topic. Everybody's a project manager. Everybody does it differently, right? But these are some of the applications we found. Monograph, if you're up to 100 people in size, this is what I recommend using, because they are made for architects. They have over 13,000 architects and engineers using this, where you can have project-based, you can have scheme-based. This is detailed design, this is construction. Who is available when? Notebook LM and custom GPTs. I'm not going to talk more about this right now, because in the workshop we're going to test both of these. They're pretty cool stuff. Okay. Cogram is, again, for those people who want like all-in-one. For project proposals, for meeting minutes, for mail management, emails. Yeah, everybody has too many of those. And then site reports. They're doing it vertically within the AEC. But let me get to my point of the blind spots, okay? The point of the blind spots is that these guys in Dubai, they didn't even know what they have a problem with. So they told me they're the BIM team. Okay, they have a BIM team, okay? So what they do is they take a SketchUp file, they model stuff in SketchUp, they're designers, until it's approved by the clients, okay? Once it's approved by the clients, they take that SketchUp model and they remodel it in Revit from scratch, from zero. Okay? For me, it was already a yellow flag. I was like, really? You make something once and then you remodel it? But they were like, yeah, this is what we, like, this is how you need to do it. I'm like, are you sure? Because I asked them, how much time do they need for this? They told me to get from SketchUp to Revit, they need 8 weeks with 8 people. Okay, 2 whole months with 8 people employed, because they have like these big hotels. I told them, guys, there's a tool called Speckle. There's a tool called Helix. It does it in 8 seconds. Not 8 weeks. It's crazy. They were like, I mean, some of them were like, I don't believe that, you know. But some of them were like, yes, let's test it. And yeah, it's these guys, Speckle. I don't have a slide about them, but they raised. They're serious. They raised, I think, 12.5 million euros just like a year ago to build this even more. They're already very good, but to build it even more. It's crazy. But yeah, there are solutions that they don't even realize that they needed. I forgot one thing. Our dear friend, ChatGPT, right? So this is actually amazing. We wanted to implement ChatGPT, but the UAE government was faster than us. I just want to show you this example at the level they're thinking at. What happened is that they announced that every UAE resident, 11 million people, okay, similar to Hungary, 11 million people will get free ChatGPT Plus. You might be thinking, what the hell? Like, how are these guys gonna do this? So they calculated that ChatGPT Plus costs around $20 per month, right? For 12 months, times 11 million residents that they live in the UAE, it's not gonna cost them anything? Let me explain. What's happening right now is that they calculated, so the UAE government calculated that if they give ChatGPT to everybody in the country, okay, some people are never going to use it. Some people are going to overuse it every day and all the time, right? But on average, they will get an annual 1% productivity growth, okay? Which equals doubling of their annual GDP. Just because of one tool, okay? And this price that they should have paid, this is 2.6, but let's say it's $3 billion. $3 billion, they will not pay to OpenAI. I'll explain why. They will build something called Stargate UAE, which is a cluster of supercomputers. Think about it as a data center that's based in Dubai, that's going to serve 2,000-mile radius, so like 3,000 kilometers around them, the whole Middle Eastern region. And OpenAI will be the main host at that data center. So OpenAI is also kind of investing. They're like, oh yeah, sure, everybody have it, because we have more users and more people will use us for years to come. Make sense? And then so these guys are thinking at this level, and then I still find people, no, I don't trust this, it's stealing my data. I'm like, yeah, guys, okay, yeah. There's different levels to this. That's what I wanted to show. Anyways, my point, I'm coming to the end, is how did we save 4.5 million for these guys, okay? How do we come to that number? So first thing is we started with these workshops. I'll repeat it again. We have a workshop today. There's an opportunity for you to join. We're going to go through some AI fundamentals. We're going to learn how to use AI. Everybody, how you can use it. The first 2 hours are for like personal productivity, from everything, from email to documents to stuff. And then the second 2 hours are more for this, like, you know, strategy and implementation and so on, okay? So we're going to have this today in the afternoon, but the number comes from this, okay? This is called the AI Proficiency Report. I love this report because, look at this. It says, so it interviewed people in the US, okay, in the North America, knowledge workers, so everybody who works behind their screen. And they separated people into 4 different classes. One is called the AI class, one is called AI experimenters, one is called AI newcomers, and one is called AI skeptics, okay? Now, what is the difference? The difference is that the AI class, only 7% of knowledge workers in the US save more than 30% of their time every week with AI. To put it into numbers, this is more than 12 hours a week. So they can go home at Thursday at lunchtime. So right now, right? So they can go home. They don't need to work until Friday afternoon because they're so quick with AI. Of course, there's caveats to this, which I'll explain in a second. But that's the point. They can save a lot of time themselves. So let's compare the two. Let's compare AI skeptics and AI class, okay? So the AI class, their characteristics are that they use AI every day. Anybody here using AI every day? Okay, a few people, nice. They only used paid versions of large language models. Is anybody using only paid versions? Okay, nice. Okay, awesome. Majority are saving more than 10% of the time each week, and they're expert at prompting. Okay, they know what they want. On the other hand, AI skeptics rarely or never use AI. They almost exclusively use free tools. This was so mind-blowing to me. They don't save any time with AI, of course, because they're not using it, and they're very bad at prompting. Another differentiation is that when it comes to their companies, okay, from their employers, AI class has a strong buy-in from their employers. Their employers are, yes, go ahead, you have the freedom. They're using, yes, they're very expert prompting, and they have using AI for 3 or more use cases. Now, AI skeptics, this is very interesting. Most of their employers, 44%, won't even take a stance on AI. This means that they're not saying anything. They're just like, you know, we're doing our work. We are not even saying it's good or bad. Almost all skeptics, so 93% of AI skeptics, have never had formal AI training. Never. Okay? And the most common use case is for writing, which is kind of 2022, if you ask me. But yes, it's, you know, it's just summarize this text and write this for me. Anyways, you understand the difference. So how do we come to 4.5 million? We said, okay, maybe these guys, after 2 years of AI implementation at the company, will not save 12 hours. Maybe they're going to save 10 hours every week, okay? Let's calculate with that. If we multiply that by 45 weeks, because you have some vacation, you have some, you know, break, whatnot, 45 weeks a year that you work, this is 450 hours a year per employee, okay? That the company can save. If we put that, not 250, I'm being very conservative here. I'm putting like 100 employees. Okay, so let's say 150 don't even care. But 100 employees are, okay, let's save this. This can mean 45,000 hours a year. And if we multiply that by their time price, I don't know their time price, but I'm guessing it's $100, they can save $4.5 million with AI. I know. Of course, this is projected savings. This is because the CEO was like, oh, yes, yes, nice. More money for me. I was like, wait. Like, the thing is that this is projected savings, not the real bottom line. The reason is the following. We were all washing our clothes by hand for decades, for centuries, and then now we have a washing machine, right? But we're still super busy. We still have no time. And it's like, because we just change our tasks into higher value tasks. So if you have somebody clean your home, you're going to do some stuff. You're going to relax, or you're going to do some other stuff. You're going to work. Who knows? But that's the point. People will find something else to do. And this was it. This was, again, in Phoenix when we had a nice dinner. These were their reviews. But yeah, if I can summarize this whole presentation, I have 8 seconds left. Then I can say, realize the power of AI, number one. Second thing, invest in AI education. You need to know what's out there and how to use it. And then 3, find apps and processes to optimize resources. Again, if you're interested, we have a workshop at 4:15 today. But pretty much, this was it. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.